3, 2, 1. How smart are we getting about watching and using smart televisions? Will they become the way we enjoy the internet and the way we get more interactive with television? Microsoft Advertising General Manager Scott Ferris offers some answers and previews next week's digital content new fronts here in the Big Apple when he joins me next. Brooklyn Independent Media HD, our simulcast partner, begins its second month of existence this week. During month one, BIM earned its first Emmy Award for Neighborhood Beat, a series on life and culture across Kings County, playing on the borough's public cable channel for a decade. Meet the Emmy Award-winning BIM producer Charlie Hoxie next half hour. In between, news notes and our classic trivia question of the week. Your chance to win a free tote bag. Hello, everyone. I'm Simon Applebaum, live from the studios of Brooklyn Independent Media in New York on BlogTalk Radio. This just in, tomorrow will be televised. Thank you all for joining us on this Monday afternoon, 58 degrees and beautiful here in the Big Apple at the top of the hour. This is the show all about television. Good guests coming your way in the next hour, and we invite you, wherever you are, to be part of the program. It's so easy. Give us a call. The number you use is 1-646-652-2906. That's 1-646-652-2906. Numbers good anyway. You'll catch us across the country, around the world, here on BlogTalk Radio and Brooklyn Independent Media. Chat room's open too. Simon Apple 04 by name. Our good friend Rick Webb from Philadelphia. I'm sure he's happy the Flyers won in hockey yesterday. He's with us in the room, and you can be too. Also, if you're listening on BlogTalk Radio, you can connect others with you right now by using Facebook Timeline. Click on the Facebook icon, your BlogTalk Radio screen. Follow the instructions. Other people can hear this program with you live. Scott Ferris joins us live from Bellevue, Washington. Yes, all the way from there after these news notes. Scrap Everest Jump live on Discovery Channel May 11th. Discovery decided not to move ahead on that primetime special involving mountain climber Joby Aguin jumping off Mount Everest's summit. This after 13 people were killed in an avalanche below the summit this past Friday. 3 people remain missing, with search teams still on site looking for them. The network made the call, in their words, in light of the overwhelming tragedy. 5 late-night live from base camp specials planned for May 5th to the 10th also were canceled. We're less than 24 hours away from the U.S. Supreme Court hearing oral arguments on Aereo, the controversial TV distribution service. The court will determine if Aereo violates copyright law through its service, which uses small antennas to distribute broadcast television and other channels among thousands of customers in 13 cities, including here in New York. Under its signal distribution process, Aereo does not compensate those networks with carriage or retransmission payments. Broadcasters who have challenged Aereo in lower courts and lost claim this is a violation, arguing that cable and satellite operators do pay them for retransmission. Aereo believes their process is not a lawbreaker. The court is expected to issue its judgment before the end of summer. One programming note, Chet Kanoja, the head of Aereo, was supposed to be on our program 2 months ago, and because of a technical snafu could not be on. We are trying to bring him on this program in the near future. And from our How Time Flies department, Saturday Night Live will celebrate 4 decades on the air next year. How about that? NBC will mark the milestone in part with a 3-hour live special February 15th with past and present not ready for primetime players, hosts, and musical guests invited. SNL has won 40 Emmy Awards and 171 nominations over the last 40 years, plus Peabody Awards in 1990 and 2009. And yes, all of that with Don Pargo speaking. And that's news notes for today. Joining us live now from Bellevue, Washington, the TV and video general manager of Microsoft Advertising, Scott Ferris. Scott, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Scott. So how are we adapting to smart TVs?
Well, we're adapting to smart TVs based on how consumers are choosing to view their most engaging and premium content. There's a lot of data out there that would really basically speak to the fact that consumers want to consume video content on their terms, on their devices, and when they want. So the whole category of on-demand is exploding, obviously, with the proliferation of high-quality broadband connections, and when you think about mobile connections being so strong these days, that consumers are looking at all their devices, TV, computer, smartphone, tablet, to consume their video content.
We know, Scott, that people are watching Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and et cetera, other video sites or video dominating sites more and more on the television set rather than the PC. But is the data you're getting suggesting that they also want to play games on the television set, they want to use original interactive apps on the television set, even perhaps download their favorite smartphone or tablet apps and make the TV the way to use them?
Yes, absolutely, especially when you think about the Microsoft ecosystem of devices. We have a lot of very rich information about how consumers are consuming content on our devices. We do have this unique and connected product portfolio at Microsoft, and we have a way to allow brands to reach consumers in more mindsets and at more moments throughout their both digital work and digital life. And when you think about how they're choosing to consume that, it's indistinguishable by the type of content. It could be a game, it can be a movie, it can be a TV show. It's really just demonstrating that consumers have this insatiable appetite for premium content, and they want it when they want it on the device that they happen to be using at the time. So yes, we are definitely seeing a lot of consumer engagement, and we have a unique sort of purview into that, given the whole holistic experience that we're providing across the Microsoft devices and ecosystem.
Is this engagement happening at a rapid rate or a slow rate or somewhere in between?
Well, I think it's happening at a rapid rate, Simon, but again, what consumers are really looking for is that premium content, and as you probably know, not all the premium content that you get on your multi-channel television service is available on the internet. Obviously Netflix is a great service, and Amazon Prime and everything that we're doing in the Xbox store, video store, is all great content, but it tends to be more movie and video content that's through the syndication marketplace. So it's not what you see in multi-channel television through broadcast and some of the premier cable content, because that's all obviously secured through the distribution carriage agreements of the operators. So what we've done at Microsoft is we are very much in this for the long haul. We have went ahead and hired a luminary in the TV business, Nancy Teale, who was the president of CBS Entertainment. And Nancy is in essence building a studio that is dedicated for the Microsoft distribution network of our devices and our services. So what we really see here is there's phenomenal content out through different content owners and content producers, and we're going to obviously partner with those folks as we have in the past. But we're also going to bring Microsoft into the TV entertainment space as a leader in premium content, and obviously differentiate ourselves by having these multi-screens that we afford consumers to consume that content, and it will all be in brand-safe environments that we can present to the both advertising community as well as brands.
When you say premium content, Scott, do you mean premium and interactive? And do you also mean it's premium content that goes beyond Xbox? It can be made available to any smart TV set maker and maybe ultimately to cable and satellite operators.
Yeah, it's a good question, Simon. So let me attack the first part of that. From an interactive standpoint, absolutely. If you think about the Xbox sort of console on the Xbox platform, particularly with Xbox One, we just launched a new version of the Kinect device, which allows for natural user interface, whether it be voice or gesture. And one of the big missing components in engaging consumers in typical linear television is we really haven't had easy ways to engage the consumer through interactivity. And now with Nancy Teale and the Xbox Entertainment Studios folks, they're going to be actually creating content from the onset with the notion of having natural user interface interactivity built in when they produce the program from the beginning. So there's so much you can do from a creative standpoint in lacing into the content interactivity through the Xbox platform. And then obviously there are standards on the internet through vPaid to do interactive overlays on straightforward video content through a player online. Now, what we do with Xbox Entertainment Studios, this is fairly new. Nancy has been with us for about a year and a half, and what we'll be revealing next week in the digital content new fronts is sort of the work that she's been undertaking as it relates to the creation of premium content for Xbox and for Microsoft. How we sort of look at the future of where that content can be distributed outside of Microsoft is yet to be determined. I mean, that's obviously a strategy that Nancy needs to employ, but the first and foremost focus of Xbox Entertainment Studios is to bring this premium differentiated content to the Microsoft consumer.
I want to get into the digital content new fronts and a little bit about your presentation in a moment, because your organization is going to be one of the lead presentations a week from today. In fact, it's going to be happening at this hour 1 week from today. But tell us about how Nancy is impacting what you're doing and what your division, how it's impacting Nancy. I mean, Nancy's coming from the table. She's been at Microsoft for over a year. She had a huge time with CBS. Obviously, she brings some things to the table. You and your group bring some things to the table, and Microsoft overall. How are the two connected?
Yeah, that's a great question, Simon. So Microsoft, obviously is a large technology and software development company that we get technology, and we have built some great products, even in the TV space, for many, many years, decades actually. But I think what we've come to the realization in this current sort of state of the industry is that we aren't content producers. We are a media offering. We have media offerings, and we're a media publisher, but we're really not a content company. We don't really understand at a visceral level what does it take to create great content, and that really is where Nancy comes in. And Nancy, I think, correspondingly, also looked at Microsoft as a company who really understands technology, and the marriage of both the technology of what Microsoft has on their devices with what Nancy does from a TV content perspective is probably the best marriage, and we're respecting obviously her expertise and what she brings to the table in the creative creation of content, and she is respecting what we have in the way of superior technologies that are accretive to a user experience, like as an example, Xbox and what we're doing with Connect. So there's a great marriage there, and I think what you'll see at Digital Content New Fronts exactly a week from today is bringing that to life, bringing the content to life on Microsoft devices, and bringing an experience to the consumer that is accretive to how they want to view premium video content, but also takes the advantage of the deep experience that Nancy and her team have in the creation of content for television viewing.
As we said, Microsoft will make its Digital Content New Front presentation a week from today at this hour. It'll be taking place in Manhattan at the Moynihan Station on West 33rd Street, right near Penn Station. Scott Ferris is the TV Video General Manager of Microsoft Advertising, the organization in play that will be making that presentation on Microsoft's behalf. He joins us live from Bellevue, Washington this half hour on Tomorrow Be Televised. Simon Applebaum with you on this Monday afternoon, live from the studios of Brooklyn Independent Media HD on BlogTalk Radio. And we invite you to get your questions and comments in. Do it now at 1-646-652-2906, or use our chat room, Simon Apple 04 by name. Guest 1021 is in the room, Rick Webb 2. On his way from Philly. And coming up on our program Friday, my first guest will be an exclusive interview. The two-time Oscar-winning documentarian Barbara Koppel will join us. Remember Harlan County, USA? Barbara's newest work comes next Sunday night on the Oprah Winfrey Network. It's Running from Crazy, about the family of the great author Ernest Hemingway and the tribulations they still deal with. Barbara Koppel with me live right here, Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on BlogTalk Radio and Brooklyn Independent Media HD. Also on the program, the two-time Emmy-award winning theme music composer Nathan Barr. His work includes The Americans, now in its second season on FX, and Hemlock Grove, beginning its second season on Netflix in July. He's going to be on the show as well. That's next Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on Tomorrow Will Be Televised. Scott, how about things like Roku, Chromecast, and more recently Amazon Fire TV? It's sort of the alternative. You don't want to buy a smart TV set for people. You use these plugins. How do you think they're doing?
Well, I think they offer something to a consumer who is looking for a cost-effective device that will bring, if you will, the programming that particular device manufacturer chooses to make available on their platform. We think that there is a place for those devices, and clearly, if you look at Chromecast, they've obviously taken a price point that is very low and is really designed to be accompanied by a second screen device or solution. And we obviously have our second screen solution through Smart Glass, which is an app that you can download on a tablet and device for the Xbox. And obviously the Xbox is a superior platform given the type of processing technology that it has and 1080p digital technology that it has from a display perspective. So we think from the perspective of the target audience, which tends to be millennials and is really moving into other sort of demographics, it's an all-in-one entertainment platform. It's primarily a gaming console and a very high-powered gaming console with phenomenal titles for gaming, but it's also an entertainment platform that has connectivity to the web, has a beautiful sort of experience from a browser perspective with Internet Explorer, and has integration of Skype, which is a tremendous application for not only communications of voice but video, and the experience is all sort of interfaced through the Connect natural user interface. So we think there are going to be certain consumers that are looking for that superior platform that will be an all-in-one entertainment platform that has superior gaming technology and has a natural user interface for interacting with their gaming and internet content as well as video content on the Xbox store, and that clearly is different than a consumer who's looking for a $35 device to basically accompany their app on their Android device.
Now, Amazon's Fire TV is the latest of these plugins. It was introduced several weeks ago. It sold out quickly. We understand the stock is back, so it's back available. What do you think about how fast that's come out of the block?
Well, I think Amazon obviously has, a very compelling video offering on their Amazon Prime service, and they are, quite an adept sort of retailer. So, with their audience that they have coming onto Amazon.com, and obviously their Amazon Prime subscribers, I think it would be a popular device. But we also see those same subscribers purchasing, Xbox devices as an example, because what Amazon provides for $99 on Fire TV is clearly not what you get on an Xbox device. So again, there's room for all devices. I think there's room for both sort of experiences, and consumers are if you will, looking at what their need sets are across their entire sort of entertainment experience and choosing those platforms based upon what they could afford, what their sort of day in the life is with respect to their devices and consuming content. And we equally saw being sold out of Xbox One when we launched, and you could see that there's an insatiable appetite for that type of a superior platform as well.
We're talking to Scott Ferris. He is the TV video general manager of Microsoft's advertising division, and they will be presenting a week from today here in New York to help lead off the digital content new fronts. It runs a week and a half next week and to midweek of the following week. He joins us live from Bellevue, Washington this half hour on Tomorrow Be Televised. Got a few more minutes with him, so if you have a question or comment, let it ring at 1-646-652-2906 or use our chat room, Simon Apple 04 by name. We're going to talk about the digital content new fronts in a moment, but first, let's spend the next minute showing and having you hear what Microsoft's advertising is all about. Music, please. I can hear it. Here we are. So how is this digital content new front set of presentations starting next week? How will they be different from the first 2 years of them?
Yeah. Well, I think firstly there's a lot more participants. There's the larger sort of media properties and publishers like Microsoft and Yahoo and others, Hulu, et cetera. And then you have a lot of, I'd say, the Web 2.0 type startup companies that are also making a presence because there was such demand that the IAB has received in this event. And the reason why I think it's changing a little bit is, it's become more of a presentation of what the content strategy is and what is expected from the various media publishers in terms of video content, both original production and also syndicated content. And, like the TV upfronts, there's been a higher sort of quotient of entertainment value, meaning there's talent that usually joins and there's some entertainment that's a part of the show in addition to the actual presentation of the strategies and the content. But I'd say it's different than the TV upfronts because I feel that we've received a lot of feedback from the advertisers and from our agency clients that they are less about the talent and the entertainment show and more about wanting to learn about the content strategy and about the distribution opportunities and partnering opportunities that are afforded the brands and the clients as it relates to presenting high-quality programming and content that people want to watch and environments that allows those brands to have deep engagement and interactivity that, is available on certain media publishers like Microsoft and Xbox, as an example.
One of the things about the new fronts this year that people, I think, are going to watch, Scott, is scripted series. We know Microsoft is getting into the game. We know Yahoo, it looks like, which will follow you next Monday afternoon, is going to get in. But do you have a sense that we're going to see more of this, more scripted television, whether it's from AOL or Crackle or Sony with PlayStation?
Yeah, I think we are, because I think at the end of the day, there's lots of forms of TV entertainment content that is being developed, movies, short form, scripted series, drama, et cetera, and there's live events as well. And although movies are the number one reason for people subscribing to streaming video services, TV shows are quickly becoming the backbone. This was done by CAB and Maggot, did a video national study in 2013, and 57% people talk about wanting to watch movies and being able to watch whenever they want to watch on whatever device. But 51% and 48%, respectively, are looking to watch an entire series or to watch TV shows on their streaming device and their streaming service. So that's why we're seeing a lot of scripted series coming up, and there's a lot of investment being made by different companies. Now, the thing I would say is not all companies are really well positioned and have the experience to create that premium quality content. They might go out and contract with the creative community, but that's where I think we really are differentiated with Nancy Tullum, and the fact that our approach is really leaning in for a long-term sort of investment and strategy of creating original content. We know that we have superior distribution platforms with the likes of Xbox and Windows 8, and obviously on tablet, mobile, and PC. We have obviously the platform of our MSN offering, and we're in this for the long haul. We want to create content that we see as being very accretive to the user experience, very unique in terms of how we can factor in interactivity and create unique sort of experiences, viewing experiences on our devices, Windows 8 as an example, and do this in a way that we are not sort of looking to steal audience or steal TV dollars away from the TV industry. It's more to complement it, because I think what we have learned in some of our research and some of our analysis is consumers really look to their devices as a way to tap into the video content that matters most to them. And it's not a matter of them not watching television in their home, in their kind of living room or media center, and us sort of stealing that audience and those TV dollars onto a device like a PC or a tablet. It's really more about complementing that experience and really following the consumer across their day in the life and as they go across their consumer decision journey of how to entertain different products that they might be interested in or actually look to make a purchase on a product. We want to sort of capture that user in their day in their life, and because of our unique connected product portfolio of being able to capture television through Xbox, being able to capture tablets through our Surface device and other Windows 8 tablets, mobile obviously, even on experiences that you might not account for being a television entertainment experience in the future, we might look at ways to bring content to our other platforms. We want to be able to capture those moments where consumers are consuming that content, whether it's in their digital life or digital work, and allow advertisers to be able to tell a story, if you will, to be able to be connected and to be able to tell a sequential story across a multi-screen experience. And that's where we think, we're really trying to be very, very deliberate about how we look at bringing different content to our platforms and when we sort of make that available and connect those experiences through our ecosystem.
Microsoft will make its digital content NewFronts presentation at this very hour next Monday afternoon. For more details about Microsoft advertising online, you go to advertising.microsoft.com. That's advertising.microsoft.com. And you can get complete details on the entire digital content NewFront agenda from IAB, the Interactive Advertising Bureau. Their website is www.iab.net/digital content NewFronts. That's www.iab.net/digital content NewFronts. And for details about, by the way, the upfronts that will continue this week, starting tomorrow with Scripps Networks, go to the Cable Television Advertising Bureau's website at www.cab.com. Scott Ferris from Microsoft Advertising, thanks again for joining us from Bellevue, Washington. All the best this coming week, getting ready for the NewFronts. And hopefully we'll see you in person with Nancy next week. And we would definitely like to invite Nancy after the presentation to be on this program.
Well, thank you, Sam. I appreciate the interest, and we'll be heading to New York tomorrow. So thanks so much.
All right, safe journey. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Scott Ferris joining us live from Bellevue, Washington. And now it's time for this week's classic trivia question. If you know the answer, get on the email to me at simonapple04@yahoo.com. And in the next few minutes, you may be on the way to winning a Brooklyn Independent Media tote bag. The most popular comedy right now is The Big Bang Theory on CBS and all over the map in syndication and on TBS. Here's our question. Where do the Big Bang Theory characters live? Where do the Big Bang Theory characters live? We want both the city and the state. And if you know that answer, email me, simonapple04@yahoo.com. That's simonapple04@yahoo.com. Please enclose your name and your mailing address. If you're first with the correct answer by this Friday, you get a Brooklyn Independent Media tote bag. It's great, it's colorful, take it anywhere. Also makes a great gift for someone you know. So, if you missed today's question, you'll find it tomorrow morning on my Facebook page and my Twitter hashtag at UBCSimonTWP. That's at UBCSimonTWBT. Best of luck to all. Get your entries in now. First come, first serve, as we like to say around here. And good luck. You're listening to Will Be Televised. We are the program all about television. We're simulcast on BlogTalk Radio and Brooklyn Independent Media Mondays and Fridays from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern, noon to 1 on the West Coast. Coming up on the program Friday, the two-time Oscar-winning filmmaker Barbara Koppel, whose newest television work is Running from Crazy, I should say, and it's premiering next Sunday night on OWN, the Oprah Winfrey Network. Also on the program, Nathan Barr, who last year was one of the few people to win a double Emmy-award nomination in the same category for his work on both FX's The Americans and Hemlock Grove, starting its second season this summer on Netflix. Barbara Koppel, Nathan Barr, this Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on BlogTalk Radio. Remember, if you want to catch up on episodes you missed, you go to our homepage, www.blogtalkradio.com/televised. That's www.blogtalkradio.com/televised. Also, check us out on podcasts. We're at iTunes.com. You can download to your smartphone or tablet. Take us on the go. And incidentally, if you're listening on BlogTalk Radio and you'd like your local cable or satellite system to take our simulcast, please let them know. Don't be silent. The only way they'll know is if you communicate it. You do, have them call Brooklyn Independent Media, and they will do the rest. And we really appreciate it. Coming up our next half hour, this very place gets an Emmy Award. You will meet the person that won, and you'll see and hear the segment that was won. We'll have all that for you after we pause at the bottom of the hour for web and channel identification. This is the place to discover what the world has to say. www.blogtalkradio.com. Nearly 20 million listeners worldwide every month and growing. And you're catching us on Brooklyn Independent Media HD, where this is your Brooklyn. Blog Talk offers the African History Network show every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And you can find the best of BTR anytime. Just go to youtube.com. And groove to live music from this studio every Thursday night on B-Side. Comes your way in prime time exclusively on Brooklyn Independent Media HD. Welcome back to the second half of Tomorrow Be Televised for this Monday afternoon, April. Simon Applebaum with you live from New York. Happy after Easter. Also, happy next to last day and last night of Passover for all you celebrating it. Happy with you live from New York here on Blog Talk Radio and Brooklyn Independent Media HD. Great guests coming your way in the next half hour, so get on the horn if you like a question or comment in. All you have to do is give us a call at 1-646-652-2906 or use our chat room, Simon Apple 04 by name, is guest 1021, and Rick Weber, a good friend in Philly, are doing. Today we mark the start of the second month of simulcast and of Brooklyn Independent Media HD. And a few weeks ago, this very organization won its first area Emmy Award, New York Area Emmy Award. It did so for an episode of a series that has been running for a decade. It's called Neighborhood Beat. In a moment, you will meet the producer of that segment. But right now, we're going to give you the chance to watch and hear that segment in its entirety. It deals with an artist here in New York by the name of Carlos Pinto. He lives in Flatbush, and this is his words and his life.
Art makes communities. Public art specifically is a community baby. It's really define a community. I live in Cortelio Road in Brooklyn. I believe it's Flatbush. On the new development, they're going to call South Code, No Code, like north of Cortelio. I live in Flatbush. I see the transition of the neighborhood, but it's not too dramatic like in the other side of Brooklyn. We don't have industrial areas where it can be lofts or over here it's kind of family oriented, but it's a solid artistical community. Yeah, this was one of the first ones. With a group of friends, we found a few years ago a group called the Brooklyn Recycle Project. Our idea is share whatever we know and create permanent pieces of artwork in different communities, not just Brooklyn. The main streets, I think instead to put signs of Coca-Cola, we can put our fingers there. And it's almost an obligation of say, we live here, or we was here. I think was the same motivation of the people 40,000 years ago. Like, yeah, I eat a deer here, and I'm gonna put it on the wall. Amen. In Guatemala, I was in college, and I teach in college a little bit, and I was working basically in my own education. In certain moment of my life, I feel myself a little sad, and I found in art and expressing myself in art the only way to keep smiling. Art saved my life in that case. I found some solid spirit to express, and it's working. It's working. I don't work for money or for fame. I work because that's what I do. It's like breath. The MetroCard work started as a reaction of hiking the prices of public transportation. I make a poster to protest the prices, and I paste that poster all over, and that was the beginning of the concept of MetroCard. It's evolved to some kind of homage of people who has been, definitely an influence in my life, from Gandhi to Michael Jackson. I think if if somebody plant a positive seed in my life, I pay respect. That's my only way to say thank you, basically. This is the only thing that I buy, and glue. Eventually, I got some commissions, and that another one, it became a snowball. A friend of mine used to say, you only live once unless you're a Buddhist. I think the material spirit of the card in this case is some kind of Buddhist thing. The reincarnation, the second life. Thank you, Leon. Leon, the barber in the plaza, basically opened a little corner of his space and collect for us the donations of the neighborhood, and we will use it. And the idea is activate the community without the pressure of economics, because that's the key. It's like everybody, when you start organizing something, everybody say, how much gonna cost me? In this case, we are asking them for ceramic elements who can be used in the. This is cool. This is nice. Green is hard to find. It came almost in the transition of the millennium. That's the reason I say I gotta be in a big city when this millennium change. I choose between Paris or New York, flip the coin, right? As an artist, we are looking for a community of where we can express. I feel that in Brooklyn, and it's dynamic, it's youth, it's a lot of power here. And maybe that's the reason I am here, kind of mystic stuff.
What you just heard and saw won the Emmy Award a few weeks ago for Best Arts and Culture Feature. That's the New York Area Emmys. Joining us live in this studio is its producer, Charlie Hoxie. Charlie, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
First of all, your thoughts about being the first Brooklyn Independent media person to win the Emmy?
It's pretty thrilling, and I think a lot of us here believe it was a long time coming. This was our 7th nomination, and I think it's just indicative that the caliber of the quality of the content that we've been putting out is just getting progressively higher.
And what was the caliber of content that you were up against? I mean, in these local Emmy Awards here in New York, you are up against local television stations, public television, all news channels like New York One and the News 12 Family Networks, the sports services like SNY, Yes, and Madison Square Garden Network. So that's a lot of competition to tear through and win.
In my category, there were 3 other nominees from WNET, Channel 13. So that's why I was completely shocked that mine happened to win. Definitely some big boys.
And we also should point out that the senior producer, Kui Youngblood, who has been involved with Neighborhood Beat for the decade's been on, Kai, got that into my ear, that also won it with you. Tell us about being involved with BIM and how this particular segment came your way.
Sure. I've been with BIM now for about 3 years, and it's interesting because this piece I did this about a year ago, or it aired about a year ago, and since then we've moved into this new space. A lot of our programming has taken kind of a different focus, a lot of studio productions and things like that. Whereas my first 2 years, it was a lot of these kind of profiles of interesting Brooklynites, kind of for the most part, in addition to lots of other things. So it's kind of, it was a nice cap on that period of that kind of pieces that we were doing. And then, Carlos specifically, I came across him through another piece that I was doing, which was basically borough-wide open artist studios event hosted by the Brooklyn Museum called Brooklyn Go. So there's hundreds of open studios across the borough for the whole weekend, and we basically, got a couple camera crews together and tried to film as many as we could get to. I think we visited about a dozen or 15. And Carlos was one of the artists we happened to hit up, and I just, he had the MetroCard art, as you see in the video, was on full display in his apartment in Flatbush, and I just thought that was so cool. And in talking to him, he just seemed like such a great, approachable, open guy. And so, I kind of planted that seed in his brain of, like I would love to do kind of like a more in-depth profile of you. And so that event, I think, was in like September or October, and then, finally ended up filming that in like February and March of 2013.
Why is he so interested in artwork for the subways? Is it because he likes the subway, or he sees something that could be improved with the subway system?
Yeah, well, as he mentions in the piece, it started really as a reaction to a hike in MetroCard costs. And he's just a very kind of political, fiery guy, you might even say, and especially is all about using art and public art as, to bring about social change or raise awareness of different issues like that. Some of the MetroCard art, so that's the way it started, but then it kind of evolved into this whole other thing, and he did some work of the different species of birds for like the Audubon Society to kind of raise awareness for conservation of their ecosystems.
Charlie Hoxie is the producer of the first Emmy-award winning production of Brooklyn Independent Media. It's called Neighborhood Beat. The specific segment is about artist Carlos Pinto, who lives in the Flatbush section of Brooklyn. In fact, if you're watching this just now, as well as hearing it, you may see some of the subway stops like Newkirk Plaza, formerly Newkirk Avenue. When I was growing up, it was Newkirk Avenue. Now, the last couple of years, it's been Newkirk Plaza. Charlie joins me live here in the studio of Brooklyn Independent Media HD. We are near the Barclays Center on this Monday afternoon on Will Be Televised. Simon Applebaum here along with Charlie and you, and we invite you to be part of the program. Give us a call at 1-646-652-2906 or check in with our chat room as guests 1021 and Rick Webb are doing. Remember, coming up on our program Friday, we will have the two-time Oscar-winning filmmaker Barbara Koppel. Her newest program is Running from Crazy. It premieres this Sunday night on the Oprah Winfrey Network, and it deals with the troubled times of the famous Ernest Hemingway family, including Margot and Mario. Also on the program, twice Emmy-nominated composer for theme music, Nathan Barr. You can find his work every week on FX's The Americans, now in its second straight year, and also on Hemlock Grove on Netflix, starting its second year there in July. What about Carlos and about doing this in first person? Is this the first segment you've done for Neighborhood Beat where you do it in the first person, or is that the kind of style you use in making videos or making segments? Yeah,
I think, early on in my production and editing, I always, I went to NYU journalism school, and so, some of my early pieces, I found no other way to tell the story than ended up having to use a little bit of voiceover of my own narration. But quickly, sought to, let the subject kind of tell the story in their own words. So which it's still, it's very editing heavy, which I think is part of why we're moving more towards kind of live productions and things that don't involve as many hours in post. Because, I'm basically pouring through these long interviews that I've had to find those like little nuggets that I think like really kind of gets the story across, gets his message across. And
speaking of the subject, we have him live from Brooklyn, Carlos Pinto. Carlos, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So, Carlos, what was it like to... I'm doing great, and so is Charlie. What was it like when Charlie, about a year ago, came into your life to tape your work?
Well, it's interesting how Brooklyn is documenting Brooklyn. It's organic, I feel. Charlie's a great host on it.
You're a great subject, yeah.
Well, it's not so hard, though. It's very, very natural talking there.
So why do you do what you do? Why do you do this subway art that deals in particular with how the subways could be better?
Well, we work in public spaces, and it's no more green, no more public than the subway system of New York, right? And in my case, the subway give me room to do the work and material to do the other stuff, the other art.
And I notice from the tape that you use various small objects, and it's the kind of art that you could like take out of various places and mishmash them together, and voila, you got a masterpiece.
I wish we were so simple like that, but yeah, the good stuff is we work with a volunteer base. We let many people interact with that, with the construction of big pieces, and maybe the diversity of subjects is the one who gives the unity. You're right in that, yep.
What does the subway system think of your work? What do they think of what you're doing with Metro cards and other art?
I don't know. I hope they like me.
Well, as far as I know, they haven't taken your stuff off the posters and the walls.
Yeah, they're still there. But I think in this summer we are finishing the Nuclear Plaza. That's a private manager. Definitely, eventually the idea is integrate that exterior pieces of artwork to the inventory of the MTA. They don't want to do that because it requires maintenance and, it's another extra expense from the point of view. But in our case, we take care of ourselves. It's no problem.
Charlie, what was some of the specific art? We're seeing it right now on the monitor for those of you listening on Blog Talk Radio. What about the art makes it striking to you?
I'm amazed by how complex and striking it is when you first see it. Like, I think when I first met Carlos in his apartment in that Open Studios event, I was really taken just as a fan of hip-hop music by some of the portraits that he's done of Biggie and Tupac, and I think those are probably pretty good sellers for Carlos. So kind of being struck by the seeming complexity of that, but then watching Carlos do his work, and he basically breaks it down like, the Metro card gives you a palette of about 4 colors, and it's just a matter of manipulating that material. And so the way he does it, it's almost like just painting, but he's doing it with Metro cards.
I think one of the reasons why the Emmy people were so impressed with this segment was the way you made it a fly on the wall. You had Charlie tell his own story, his own situation. You used music, but very quietly, not bombastic. But the other thing was that you really felt this feeling like I'm an eyewitness to what he is doing. How do you do that?
Well,
how do you make a segment like Carlos comfortable?
Well, I'll have to also give props to my shooter, Ilya Schnitzer, who I teamed up with for a lot of pieces for BIM over the years. Really talented cameraman that, very, very fortunate to work with. And it's one of my professors in grad school said when you're watching a documentary, what you're basically seeing is the relationship between the filmmaker and the subject, which kind of sounds simple, but I think there's a lot to that, in that if you just show up with a camera and start shooting, like, that's going to come off in the piece. Whereas, with Carlos, we had a chance to kind of hang out, and I, went by his place without a camera or anything, just kind of talk about, what this piece might be and just, what he was working on. And I think that definitely comes out in the piece. You can see his kind of comfort with me and the camera and everything.
Carlos, what was it like for you to have Charlie and his camera people follow you around? How comfortable were you?
I had the tendency to start sweating when a camera turned on. But working with Charlie is pretty easy, though. He knows what he's doing, I think. But it was very concise, because English is not my first language. I have the tendency to talk a lot about other stuff to go to the point. With him he told me exactly what he wants, and let it roll, and suddenly he got what he wants. And I think he's good with what he does. Doesn't need too many takes, or you don't feel intimidated by it. And he's super professional with it.
How have you and your art career progressed since his segment was presented in Brooklyn over a year ago? What's happened the last year with you?
Well, it's I take it as a natural. I've been working 20 years already in public pieces, and it's beautiful when you see It's time to start harvesting something. It's never about money. We talk about that. But it's good when you start seeing fruits of labor, of work. And that's, I take the piece of charity as that, as a fruit of a long work.
Charlie, how has this Emmy Award impacted not only you, but everyone here at Brooklyn Independent Media, that finally, after years of putting nominations in and losing out to other people, do you feel that this is, like, in a way, a recognition of the kind of programming this place is doing?
Yeah, no, I think it's great, and like I said, we launched the new channel a month ago, and I think it's just indicative, kind of the upward trend that they're on, and also just it's tough because we're so small and we don't get like the Nielsen ratings and all that, so it's really great to get recognition like this. So we all as